Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
ਸਾਡੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ ਅਨੇਕ ਭਾਸ਼ਾਵਾਂ। ਕਿਰਪਾ ਦੇਖੋ suprememastertv.com/schedule।
Earth is the first element, water the second, fire the third, wind the fourth, and air the fifth. These 5 elements are not created nor made. They are eternal. Please continue watching to find out more.
Hello, optimistic viewers. I am Farhan. The enlightened Indian people are ever hopeful that all of humanity will soon be vegan. One of the oldest religions in the world is Jainism, traditionally known as Jain Dharma. Originating from ancient India, this philosophy centers around concepts such as right perception, right knowledge, and right conduct in the attainment of moksha, or realization of the soul's true nature. The concept of ahimsa or non-violence is of equally great importance. Thus, with compassion for all life, practitioners of Jainism follow a pure vegetarian or vegan diet. Jains follow the ancient wisdom of the 24 Tirthankras or prophets, whose teachings comprise the Agam Sutras, the religion's holy scriptures. Lord Mahavira, who is considered to be the last Tirthankara, was born around the 5th to 6th century BC as a prince of the ancient kingdom of Vaishali. He later forsook his royal status to pursue the spiritual path. After attaining Kevala Jnana, or all-knowing intuitive vision, he spent the rest of his life giving discourses on spiritual truths which form the present-day tenets of Jainism. Supreme Master Chinghai has spoken about Lord Mahavira as during this lecture in Taiwan, also known as Formosa, on June 23, 2019.
I don't know if anyone in the history of mankind could have done or could be doing or will be doing such an asceticism, such a sacrifice like the Lord Mahavir. Okay? That's why I want to read it to you. His heart was filled with equanimity and compassion. His face beamed with a spontaneous smile. Why does he feel compassion after he have this power? Because he can feel what the humans or beings around him or in the world feel. You know, their sorrow, their pain, their frustration, their troubles, their helplessness, their suffering. That's why he has compassion for them.
We present to you today excerpts from Book 2, Lecture 1 from Jainism's Sutrakritanga Sutra. Second book, first lecture, The Lotus. Thus, some shameless men becoming monks propagate a law of their own, and others believe it, put their faith in it, adopt it, saying, "Well, you speak the truth. O Brahmana, O Sramana, we shall present you with food, drink, spices, with a robe, a bowl, or a broom." Some have been induced to honor them, some have made their proselytes to honor them. Before entering an order, they were determined to become Sramanas, houseless poor monks who would have neither sons nor cattle, to to eat only what should be given them by others, and to commit no sins. After having entered their order, they do not cease from sins. They themselves commit sins. They cause others to commit sins, and they assent to another's committing sins. Thus they are given to pleasures, amusements, and sensual lust. They are greedy, fettered, passionate, covetous, the slaves of love and hate. Therefore they cannot free themselves from the circle of births, nor free anybody else from it, nor free any other of the four kinds of living beings from it. They have left their former occupations, but have not entered the noble path. They cannot return to worldly life, nor get beyond it. They stick, as it were, in pleasures and amusements. Thus I have treated of the first man as one who believes that soul and body are one and the same thing. Now I shall treat of the second man as one who believes that everything consists of the five elements. Here in the East teach this religion well. There are five elements through which we explain whether an action is good or bad, hell or not. Everything down to a blade of grass consists of them, and one should know the intermixture of the elements by an enumeration of them. Earth is the first element, water the second, fire the third, wind the fourth, and air the fifth. These five elements are not created directly or indirectly, nor made. They are not effects nor products. They are without beginning and end. They always produce effects, are independent of a directing cause or everything else. They are eternal. Some, however, say that there is a self besides the five elements. What is does not perish, from nothing, nothing comes. All living beings, all things, the whole world consists of nothing but these five elements. They are the primary cause of the world, even down to a blade of grass. A man buys and causes to buy, kills and causes to kill, cooks and causes to cook. He may even sell and kill a man. Know that even in this case he does not do wrong. These Nastikas cannot inform you. They stick, as it were, in pleasures and amusements. Thus I have treated of the second man, who believes that everything consists of the five elements. Now I shall treat of the third man, who believes that the self is the cause of everything. Here in the East teach this religion well. Here all things have the self for their cause and their object. They are produced by the self. They are manifested by the self. They are intimately connected with the self. They are bound up in the self. As for instance, a tumor is generated in the body, grows with the body, is not separate from the body, but is bound up in the body. So all things have the self for their cause. As for instance, a feeling of indisposition is generated in the body, grows with the body, is never separate from the body, but is bound up in the body. So all things have the self for their cause. As for instance, an ant hill is made of earth, grows through earth, is not separate from earth, but is bound up in earth, so all things. As for instance, a tree springs up on earth, grows on earth, is not separate from earth, but is bound up in earth, so all things. As for instance, a lotus springs up in earth, grows on earth, is not separate from earth, but is bound up in earth, so all things. As for instance, a mass of water is produced by water, grows through water, is not separate from water, but is bound up in water, so all things. As for instance, a water bubble is produced in water, grows in water, is not separate from water, but is bound up in water, so all things. And the 12 Angas, the canon of the Jainisms, which has been taught, produced, and declared by the Sramanas, the Nirgranthas, namely the Akaranga, all down to the Drishtivara, is wrong, not true, not a representation of the truth. But this, our doctrine, is correct, is true, is a representation of the truth. The heretics in question make this assertion. They uphold this assertion. They try to establish this assertion. Therefore, they cannot get out of the misery produced by this era, even as a bird cannot get out of its cage. These heretics cannot inform you. They stick, as it were, in pleasures and amusements. Thus I have treated of the third man, who believes that the self is the cause of everything. Now I shall treat of the fourth man, who believes that fate is the cause of everything. Here in the East teach this religion well. There are two kinds of men. One man admits action, another man does not admit action. Both men, he who admits action and he who does not admit action, are alike. Their case is the same, because they are actuated by the same force. An ignorant man thinks about the cause as follows: when I suffer, grieve, blame myself, grow feeble, am afflicted, or undergo great pain, I have caused it. Or when another man suffers, etc., he has caused it. Thus an ignorant man thinks himself or another man to be the cause of what he or the other man experiences. A wise man thinks about the cause as follows: when I suffer, etc., I did not cause it, and when another man suffers, etc., he did not cause it. A wise man thinks thus about the cause of what he himself or another man experiences. I say this: movable or immovable beings in all the four quarters thus, that is, by the will of fate, come to have a body, to undergo the vicissitudes of life, to lose their body, to arrive at some state of existence, to experience pleasure and pain. Entertaining such opinions, these heretics cannot inform you. These worthless men entertain such opinions and believe in them till they cannot return, down to amusements. I have treated of the fourth man, who believes that fate is the cause of everything. These four men, differing in intellect, will, character, opinions, taste, undertakings, and plans, have left their former occupations, but have not entered the noble path. They cannot return to worldly life, nor get beyond it. They stick, as it were, in pleasures and amusements. Happy viewers, thank you for joining us for today's Words of Wisdom. Coming up next is Supreme Master Ching Hai Vegan on the harmful effects of meat, Part 10, Retribution in the Afterlife, right after noteworthy news here on Supreme Master Television. May you enjoy peace and contentment in acts of compassion towards all beings.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW.